Is the suffering in our world unlikely if a perfect being exists at the foundation of our world? To help us think about this question, let us consider the most perplexing kinds of suffering. These are bad events such that you see no reason a perfect being could possibly have for allowing them. Call these events mysterious evils. Now, before I continue, I would like to acknowledge that suffering and tragedies may pose for you heartfelt questions and concerns. My aim here is not to justify evils or to explain them away. Rather, I will offer a tool that can help you in your own analysis of the evidential weight of evil with respect to various worldviews. The tool is Bayesian probability. Here's how it works. For any given data D and hypothesis H, we can investigate whether D is evidence for or against H by asking two questions. Question 1, how likely is D given H? Question 2, how likely is D without H? In this context, the term likely means reasonable degree of expectation. For example, if I find some cereal on the floor, I can consider how likely or expected that cereal would be on my floor if my cat were recently in the kitchen. In this case, the data D is my discovery of the cereal on the floor. H is the hypothesis that my cat was just in the kitchen. Now, if D is more expected to me given hypothesis H than without H, then D gives me a reason in support of H. We can apply this tool to data involving evil. Let D be the existence of mysterious evil, and let H be the hypothesis that a perfect being exists. The two questions then are these. Question 1, how likely or expected are mysterious evils if a perfect being exists? Question 2, how likely or expected are mysterious evils if a perfect being does not exist? Now, these are not easy questions, and different people will estimate different answers. Your answers will depend on your assessment of what is expected given all of your experiences. But here is one analysis for your consideration. Consider first that a perfect being would include a perfect mind. Such a mind would grasp values far beyond what any limited mind could grasp. For that reason, one may expect, just by logic, that if God were perfect, then probably God would have some reasons that moral agents would not always be able to grasp. That's expected if a perfect mind does exist. Meanwhile, in the absence of a perfect being, expectations differ. Consider that there is no purely logic-based reason to expect particles to ever produce moral persons. In fact, logic doesn't even require that there be particles at all. Moreover, logic doesn't require reality to unfold in the highly precise way required to allow for the existence of moral communities who can ponder the problems of evil, and who could, if they choose, work together towards solutions. On this analysis, it follows, perhaps surprisingly, that theism makes more likely the existence of a moral framework in which beings encounter events that happen for reasons they do not presently know. To be clear, this analysis is not complete. I have not shown that no event could count as evidence against theism. There are many cases and classes of evil to consider. Rather than attempt to wade through various cases here, I will instead offer a final thought about how to approach probability judgments in general. My proposal is to steer between the extremes of fierce skepticism on the one hand and dogmatic presumption on the other. The fiercely skeptical person says no one could ever be justified in any estimate of the relevant probabilities. For example, no one could be justified in having any expectations about what a perfect being would likely do or not do in any situation. This skepticism leads to over-skepticism. If you are fiercely skeptical, then you would have no way to know much of anything. You might have been created 5 minutes ago with all your memories implanted for reasons beyond your comprehension. You couldn't even know that this scenario is unlikely. That's too skeptical. The presumptuous person, by contrast, falls into the other extreme. This person presumes to know that they are in a good position to see what every reason for evil would or could be. Thus, when they don't see a reason, they presume to know that there is therefore probably no reason. Both stances lead to errors, since both stances cannot be justified by the canons of reason. Rather than be too skeptical or too presumptuous, the clearest path to progress on any subject is to stay curious.